Hello and good evening.
Hi there, Arrow.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. Man, I'm so glad that we get the opportunity to talk with you because you are on a mission to bring authenticity to music.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That means an awful lot.
To be in that moment, though, where did you feel it in your heart to say, hey, look, I'm just going to be real?
I think it's the only way I can be. I mean, it's hard to put on an act, and it takes a lot of energy to keep it up. So I think that the more authentic you are, the happier you are, the more, the better music you can make, the easier for you to touch people, and you just keep it authentic. I think that is the whole goal.
One of the things that I was so impressed with you about, Marcus, was the fact that you created a trailer for the release of Long Way Down.
Well, hopefully it works. I mean, these days we don't have the luxury of having different departments working on different areas of expertise of their own. So you sort of have to wear a lot of different hats. So, it's one of the things that you have to try and embrace and enjoy, because if you don't, you struggle a little bit.
Well, when you put together Long Way Down, I'm always interested in the building process. Did it start with a riff first, or did a lyric come to you just one sentence at a time? How did you build this song?
Well, I built it like I build most songs. I start with music, and and it's sort of something that can just fall out of a guitar. It's sometimes it's something that you sit, and every time you pick up a guitar, something is interesting to you, so you play it and develop it a little bit, so it sort of evolves over time. And then when the structure's sort of together, and I have a verse, bridge, and a chorus, then I start with a melody. But this particular song is a co-write between myself and Jeff Paris, who is a fantastic writer. He had a solo career of his own, and in the 80s and 90s, he's written for a lot of people. And I wanted to do a straight ahead rock song with some, boy girl lyrics, and that's not my forte, but so I instilled some help from him.
So when you sit down with another creative person, doesn't the art of listening play a big role?
Absolutely. And the art of listening, it plays a role in every area of production and music and playing with other people. And you sort of have to learn to listen, because if you don't, you miss a lot of clues, right? You miss a lot of clues that could spark an idea or a direction or something worth investigating. If you're not listening out, like in life, you miss things.
So Long Way Down is the song coming out a precursor to The Traveler, your album. And I've kind of looked into a little bit of your career. You've been everywhere. I mean, you've been all over the place. And is this album an accumulation of your travels? Are you bringing in things that you've seen and experienced? I'm interested.
Well, yes, and I think all music, whoever's making their own music makes the music in a way that sort of incorporates all those sounds and experiences and stuff. So yes, it's definitely got some influences of the flamenco influence and the world music influence, even though it has it's obviously a rock record, but some of the riffs, like in the title track, is comes from a 12/8 flamenco rhythm called a bulerías, and that's wow. That ended up on the but you'd never know that if you didn't if I didn't mention it. It's not like I tried to be super diverse and include different sounds and things like that, but it just sort of happens naturally.
Well, and your riffs, just in listening to your work, they come off so naturally anyway. You're super talented. I went back you're welcome. I went back and listened to the Rod Stewart song you did, Walking in the Sunshine. Phenomenal. Yes. I mean, it's so upbeat and it just carries you along this wonderful road. And I've enjoyed listening to your riffs throughout. In your travels, though, I'm curious. I saw on your Instagram a lot of posts with beer. Is there anywhere in your travels, where's the best beer and what is your favorite?
It's funny that you should notice that. Well, I always try and sample the local brew. So, as a matter of fact, I live in LA. There's a lot of great beers coming out of LA right now. A lot of independent breweries and a lot of really good stuff. So I'd like to taste the words of the locals, and so I did post a lot about that. Yeah.
We're in this new generation of sound where Spotify and iHeartRadio are the new tower records. Do you market yourself to that now? Because, I mean, it's like people are so addicted to locating brand new music right now. And it's like The Traveler needs to be that next album. That's the one that we need to have this summer when we're out camping or even just driving on the road.
Oh, from your mouth to God's ears.
So then, is that part of the marketing plan then to get onto? And where does TikTok play in any of this? Because, I mean, it seems like that's where a lot of people are getting their music too.
Well, yeah, it is, and unfortunately, I'm lagging a little behind in TikTok. I'm lucky in the way that now working with Mike Tramp now, I've sort of gained some of his audience, so I can I'm going through obviously social media channels. Facebook seems to be more active for that at the moment for me. But yeah, I'm toying around with TikTok, and it's definitely all marketed to people, funneling people to the online streaming platforms. Although when you tour, which we'll be doing a lot of, from now to the end of the year, you're in a great position to be able to sell physical product on the road, and that's great because you can actually meet people. You can, you can shake their hand. You can, if they want you to sign, you can sign, and it's a really good way to reach more people. So I would say they both feed each other. I think that the physical being on the road in front of people feeds your social media numbers, and the social media numbers feed that. And then so hopefully it funnels everybody toward the platforms of their choice where they can hear your music. Yes, definitely that sort of marketing.
I noticed with your music, and you made the reference to the flamenco guitar, that's very special. It's different, and it's very special to listen to for me, and with the Esteve Valencia from Spain. And so I wondered what type of audience you've got response from with that, because that's so unique, but it's very, very diverse.
I think I've had more success with that outside of Spain in the American type of audience where it's very exotic. In Spain, the level of flamenco playing, especially lately with younger flamenco players, is so evolved. It's so technical, and the timing and the way they look at what they call the compass, which is the way the time is structured. Is so complex at the moment. So what I do is I didn't dedicate my life to flamenco in that way, so I don't have a lot of those highly honed skills. So where I can sort of separate myself from those people is incorporate flamenco in more of a song structured way. So, and that definitely appeals, to the American audience and the Scandinavian audience a lot. It reminds Scandinavians of nice sunny weather. And so that's the sort of audience outside of Spain for sure.
In a way, don't you think that you've got two different audiences? Those that come to hear your guitar and those that come to listen to and experience your lyrics. It's like two separate audiences there.
You would think so, but the goal is to try and have the music support the lyrics in a way so it helps paint the picture of what you're trying to talk about. So I think that whole sort of escapist thing where you can maybe help create some imagery with the music that supports the lyrics. That's the goal for me, and I'm really conscious of that when I'm writing and producing, trying to have those things maybe take the listener somewhere,
And we've talked a lot about your skill, your ability to play this song, who your audience is. I'm really interested in your guitar. It looks like a very well-loved Fender Strat. And I'm curious, Does it have a name? And how long have you had it? I mean, that's like a piece of you. Arrow and I are both big guitar fans, and I know he has his old one.
No, I don't name my guitars. I haven't got around to naming any guitars. I never have. But this is actually it's based on the Fender Strat. It's a company called Exotic Guitars. I love them. They're a Japanese company, but they're based here and hand build all the guitars in North Hollywood. They do a fantastic job. It's a very precisely made guitar, even though it looks like it's been through the ringer and on the road a long time. It's I keep the frets very, in great condition, and I have two of those, which are what I use on the road. And it's not an old guitar. It's a relatively new guitar, but it's relic.
Wow.
It's relic, and it feels like an old friend too. So yeah, exotic guitars. They're great guitars.
We've talked about the lyrics. We've talked about the guitars, but I am a harmonies man. I love me some harmony, and you nailed it in this song.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think just generally people love harmonies. I mean, I do. I mean, it just really, gives a great texture. People just are drawn to harmonies.
Well, and I'm so glad that you say that you like it too, because the last time that I was in the studio, my technician was like, "Oh, no, you're doing too many harmonies." And I'm going, "Did the Eagles ever have to face that problem? I mean, is there such a thing as having too many harmonies?"
I don't think there is, unless they're a little strange. But which you never know. But no, I don't think you can ever have too much harmony. As a matter of fact, in retrospect, I was talking to my my friend who co-wrote this with me, and we were saying, why didn't we put some more like Toto style harmonies on the end? And so you know what? It was too late. I went, shit, you're right. Oh, I don't know if I can say that, but yeah.
Wow. So now, one of the things that I've noticed in listening to the music, because I love listening beyond sound, and thank you so much for not over-compressing this so I can get in there and really study what you're doing, is that the layering of the guitars. How do you take the layered guitars in the studio and now make it live in concert?
Well, you sort of have to do a bit of a hybrid when you learn it. If you're fortunate to be able to take another guitar player with you, then great. But if not, you sort of have to learn a hybrid way of playing all the parts to where it still makes sense in the songs. I think I heard Gary Moore talking about that once. Was it Gary Moore? I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, you sort of learn it, and there might be bits and pieces from one part or another part that you play, and then the sound also is important. But you can't really do it exactly the same, even though I think there are a lot of layers on this record. But I think most of it, if you don't play one live, you won't miss it.
How much do you depend on that live audience to keep you level and focused in on the presence of now?
Let's see. That's a good question. I think I'll start by saying I think you have, as a player, you have a responsibility to your audience. Now, that doesn't mean to say you pander to them or cater to them, because they want to see you doing what you do. But I think you have a responsibility to stay in good musical shape and to do it to the best of your ability and be, really, really conscious of that. So I would say live, you sort of have to be an audience member the same way you have to be a listener when you're a producer in the studio. You sort of have to bridge both sides, I think. So
right now you are, I believe, doing a tour. It's Songs of the White Lion, and you've got a second kind of layer of that coming. Yes. Tell us about that tour. I mean, it looks like you guys are just jamming, and I love watching you in those clips. I mean, your talent is obviously there. You're able to, as Errol said, harmonize and to improvise. I enjoy every minute of it. But tell us about your tour.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to be leaving in about 5 weeks. We've got 3 shows in Europe. Festival shows, Denmark, Germany, and Sweden, and then we come back here and start a 9-week U.S. tour in August, which will take us to the end of October. Then we start on the 1st of November with the Dead Daisies, opening for the Dead Daisies.
You're kidding
over in
me.
Europe again.
Oh, my God.
No. So I'm very much looking forward to that, very much so.
Wow. Man, the people of Iron Maiden told me, you're not a rock band unless you play in Germany at a festival. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, we did a lot of festivals last year. It was a little slower for festivals this year because there was a lot going on in Europe. There was the soccer and the Olympics, and so there was a lot going on. So festivals weren't as big and as they were the year before, but I think 2025 will be different. I think we'll be doing a lot of festivals there.
Yeah, we just had a gigantic festival here in Charlotte, and then I just read today that there's one out there in Yakima, Washington. So I mean, if Yakima can have a festival, we can get your butt up on that stage really fast.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
So where can people go to find out more about the band, to listen to the music, and more importantly, to buy authentic merchandise? I am so tired of people selling that stuff that does not have your permission, and I want them to have authentic merchandise.
Okay, yeah. So for my stuff at my website, marcusnand.com, you can buy. I'm getting the shop to where you can buy stuff, and I'm going to be, when the record's out, you're going to be able to buy everything online there. And then for the songs of White Lion, they can go to Mike Tramp's website, which is miketramp.k, I believe. He has all kinds of merchandise there. And then the best thing to do is come to a show.
Yes.
We've got merch on the road, and you'll see the show, and we'll meet you, and Mike will sign whatever. We'll have that's the best thing to do.
I love it. Marcus, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
I really appreciate it, Arrow. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate it.
You be brilliant today, okay?
And you, and guys, have a great rest of the day. And thank you for spreading the word, and thank you for being interested in my music and original music, and it's very much appreciated.